Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mastercam chaining training exercise. As you can see here, we've already established our part, and I'm just going to go through how we go about chaining it, the different types of chaining methods for this specific part. So come up to the top here and select Analyze, and we'll go to Chain. So under this dialog box, you'll notice that all the chaining options are presented here in front of us. So up at the very top, there are two unique choices to choose from when chaining an object. As you can see here, we have wireframe, which is highlighted, and this is mainly because this whole part right here is developed through wireframe creation. Beside it is solids, and the reason why solids is shaded out is because we don't have an active solid on our screen to select, so we can't grab any surfaces for that solid. So that's why that's shaded out, and our only option is the wireframe kind of chaining method. Below this is C-plane and 3D. Now 3D will grab anything, and if there's a branch point, Mastercam will ask you which direction you want to take for 3D chaining, whereas C-plane, Mastercam will just grab everything at the same Z depth and contour it all the way around. So that's the difference between those two here. The chaining method, as you can see here, will chain everything until there is a break in the line or if there's duplicate geometry. So if I select this here and I grab this line, you'll notice that my line starts here, as indicated by the green arrow, and it ends at this red arrow. So that tells us something. That tells us that this line isn't connected to our geometry all the way around, this kind of dotted line at the bottom here. It also tells us that there might be duplicate geometry overlapping on this one. It could tell us many different things why it's not chaining, but ultimately we would need to select another chain in order for it to go all the way around. This button right here is the unselect button, so if you mess up in your chaining, you could just hit unselect and you don't need to go ahead and exit out of the chaining dialog box just to load up the chaining dialog box again to update your chaining method. You could simply just hit the unselect button and it will unselect everything that you just grabbed. Coming up to the top, we also have the window chaining method. So instead of just selecting individual lines, you can actually create a window around your part here, and Mastercam asks you to sketch an approximate start point. So if I sketch right here, my tool will start, come into this point here, and then continue to cut all the way around. So instead of, again, grabbing single entities, you can just highlight the whole thing, put a window around it, and sketch an approximate start point to where you want your tool to come into the part. So I'm going to hit unselect again. This one here is known as area. So Mastercam asks us to select an area here. If I were to come into this part here and I were to click, it would grab the whole part because everything that borders where I'm clicking will be chained. So if there was like a box right here and I were to click inside the box, it would only highlight the box around it. But since this is pretty open, this part, and I were to select here, it would grab the whole area of the part. So I'm going to move on to this line right here, which is known as single. So say I don't want to grab the whole part itself, I just want to grab one line, and I only want to machine one line of this geometry here. I can actually just select the one line feature here and go ahead and select the line itself. So this will only grab one line for me, and you can also see that the green arrow is where I'm starting my chain and the red arrow is where I'm ending my chain. So if you ever see a green arrow and a red arrow and you are chaining a part and you want the whole thing to be chained, whenever you see a red arrow, that indicates that there's a break in the line or there's something wrong with the chaining, that it's not chaining all the way around the part. So when you go to chain something, just ensure that the red arrow is not present if you're doing a contour all the way around the part, and you'll know that you're chaining the geometry correctly. So come down here and select unselect again. The polygon right here is something that you could use for chaining as well. So instead of drawing a box around it, the box is known as a rectangle, so a window. So if I were to select the window, I would have to draw a rectangle around the full part. Whereas polygon right here, I can actually sketch around the part and indicate what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. So I can kind of follow the outside of this part here, and then I will have my chain when it's all said and done. So the next one that I want to show you guys, if I go into the analyze and chaining method, is something called partial. Now partial is good because if I just want to select a portion of this as opposed to the whole thing, I'm able to do so. So with partial, I'm going to grab this chain here, and I'm going to grab this chain here. So I'm only grabbing this groove, and I'm only machining out this groove. I'm not worrying about this other outer diameter right here. I'm actually just grabbing the inside here by selecting partial. So partial will allow you to grab two different lines, and then based on everything in between those lines, you'll machine them out. Now say I mess up in chaining and I don't want my arrows going this way. A simple way in order to fix your chaining instead of unselecting is if I were to chain something like this and my arrows are going the improper way because that's going outside of the groove, I can come down here and select reverse, and that'll reverse my chains for me as opposed to unselecting and grabbing another line. A little tip for you guys when chaining, wherever you select, so I'm selecting at the bottom here, that's where my chain is going to be. So if I select here, it's going to move on the outer half, whereas if I select in the upper quadrant, so if I select up here, my arrows are going to face down, but if I select down here, my arrows are going to face up. So it all depends on where you chain and how you grab things. So that kind of sums up chaining and how you go about chaining an object and the different chaining methods that you can do.